because this will override most things that you're doing right here. Set your rate control to CBR, which stands for constant bitrate, and then the constant bitrate that we are choosing is this one right here. And when we go to this chart, we go to the NVIDIA NVENC column right here to 720p 60 fps because that's what we chose, and the bitrate should be 4500. So let's go back to the settings and enter that right here. Then the keyframe interval, let's move this. Right here should be 2 seconds, so let's enter 2 right here. The preset should be set to quality as you see right here, and then the profile, they don't explain it right here, but just leave it at high. Disable look ahead, enable psychovisual tuning, and then the GPU can be 0, and the max B frames, as you see right here, B frames should be set to 2 as it is by default. I will now go over the Software X264 settings so you can skip to this time if you're not doing that. Okay, so the Software X264 settings, let's change the encoder to Software X264. Then do not enable enforced streaming encoder settings, do not enable rescale output, set the rate control to CBR, and then the bitrate is dependent on which resolution you chose right here on this chart. We will go to the X264 column. Column right here, then to 720p 60 fps because that's what we're setting up in this video, and then you see bitrate should be 4500. So let's go to the settings and then add that right here. Okay, do not enable use custom buffer size, then the keyframe interval as we see right here on this chart should be 2, so let's enter 2 right here. And then the CPU usage, this is a setting that's specific for Software X264, and this is pretty important. Now what you're selecting right here is how hard your CPU will work to get a certain amount of quality. Now the lower you go in this list, the harder it will be for your CPU, but the better the quality will be. So if you have a really slow processor, then select ultra fast, super fast, or very fast. The lowest quality is ultra fast, but this quality will be low. So if you can go higher, definitely select super fast or very fast, but make sure that you leave some room for your CPU to breathe in case there's a loading screen that's taxing the CPU, or a program launching on a computer, or just a spike in CPU usage. You will definitely want to prepare for that. How do you prepare for that? Well, let me show you. Just press Ctrl Shift Escape on your keyboard and then go to the Performance tab. Right here you will see the CPU usage, and you should test this once we're done with setting everything up. So let me quickly go to the settings. So once we're done setting everything up, you will want to launch your stream, go online, start your game, start playing, and then see on this graph right here what your CPU usage is. If the CPU usage is around 50 or 40%, that means that you still got a lot of room, and you can change this very fast option, for example, to faster or fast. It's also possible that when you set it to fast, you start your stream and your game, that you will see that your CPU jumps to 90%, and that